Dear Libra. What if I told you that tomorrow is not just another day, but a cosmic opening that only reveals itself a few times a year just for you? Yes, Libra. You didn't find this message by accident. This is Zodiac Whisper Tarot, and you've been guided here by divine alignment. Right now, a rare energetic doorway is opening just for your Signa, double blessing day, where the energies of the cosmos synchronize in your favor. In the next 24 hours, your sense of balance, beauty, and purpose will be amplified like never before, but only if you're awake enough to claim it. And that's why I'm here. And why you are, too. If something inside you has been stirring a quiet knowing, a whisper that change is near, this is the confirmation you've been waiting for. The universe is not just shifting. It's recalibrating your path. And Libra, your time has finally come. You see, as the sign ruled by Venus, you are not only the keeper of harmony, you are the artist of destiny. You refine chaos into elegance. You listen between the lines. You carry grace even when the world is on fire. And now you are being asked to receive. Tomorrow, the stars are scripting a rare alignment for you. One that brings healing. One that clears emotional and karmic residue. One that might just change the trajectory of your finances, your relationships, and your spiritual direction all in the same breath. But here's the thing, energy without awareness is just noise. You're not here just to listen. You're here to activate. The universe responds to clarity, not confusion. To intention, not impulse. So before we dive into the tarot, astrology, numerology, and energetic alignments that await you in this reading, I have one simple question. What brought you here today? And more importantly, what is it inside you that is finally ready to be seen, healed, or released? Let me take a moment to express my deepest gratitude for your presence here. Every like, every comment, every subscription you offer to this channel helps us deliver more healing messages like this to the people who need them most. And believe me, Libra, you are the reason this community grows. Your energy, you're here to is part of something sacred here. So I ask you now, if you feel that something powerful is aligning in your life, leave a comment below with a sacred number that keeps appearing for you, whether it's 111, 222, 888, or something uniquely yours. By writing it out, you're sending a signal to the universe: I am ready. I am aligned. I am open. And I promise you, if you stay with me until the very last moment of this video, you'll uncover exactly why this moment in time feels so different. Because the truth is, Libra, you're not lost. You're being rerouted. The signs are everywhere. And in just a moment, I'm going to walk you through what's coming with clarity, depth, and love. So get comfortable. This isn't just a reading, it's a realignment. It's a return to the deepest parts of yourself that have been waiting to rise. Are you ready? Then let's begin. Sometimes, we don't realize just how much power is hidden within the quiet choices we've made. Especially for Libra, a sign that carries the weight of harmony like a crown. This moment in the cosmos is more than just a shift in planets. It's a soul recalibration. When Venus, your ruling planet, forms a gentle yet profound trine with an intuitive force like Neptune or the Moon, something stirs beneath the surface. You begin to feel it not in your thoughts, but in your breath, your chest, your silence. The places where you once compromised for peace are now glowing with the potential for clarity. And not just any clarity, but the kind that comes from within, not from being right, but from being real. For so long, you've carried the roles others handed you. The one who smiles to smooth the mood, who speaks gently to avoid chaos, who holds back so others can move forward. But this new energy, especially under the guidance of the Justice, Temperance, and the Star, is gently guiding you to release that version of yourself, not because it was wrong, but because it is now complete. The universe doesn't rush, and neither should you. But when the rhythm begins to change, as it is right now, the dance must evolve too. Justice, in its purest form, isn't about balance for the sake of appearance. It's about truth. And for you, Libra, truth is not always loud, but it's unshakable. Temperance reminds us that restoration doesn't come in extremes. It comes through grace, through allowing space for both light and shadow to exist in you at once. And the star never screams. It whispers. It reminds you of the promises made before life got loud. And now it's time to remember. You see, this part of your journey is not about proving your strength, it's about trusting it. True balance is not stillness, it is motion in every direction with intention. So if you've ever sacrificed your voice for someone else's comfort, if you've ever let go of something dear because you thought it was the right thing to do, you need to know that nothing was lost. It was being transformed. And now, it's returning, but stronger, deeper, and aligned with who you truly are. The cosmic invitation in this moment is clear: call your energy back. Not through force, but through remembrance. You are allowed to outgrow peace that was built on suppression. You are allowed to say no with love. And most of all, you are allowed to redefine what harmony looks like for you, not for others. And if your heart feels tender while reading this, that's okay. Healing is not weakness. As someone once wisely said, the gentle inherit strength through stillness. You are not late, nor have you missed your moment. You're arriving now, in divine timing, precisely because you've made space within yourself for this next chapter. Take a moment. Breathe in. And if you feel called, share in the comments something you once let go of, not because you wanted to, but because you thought you had to. This is your chance to reclaim that part of you. To bless it. To welcome it back. Because sometimes, the return of your own voice is the loudest miracle of all. Some blessings arrive not as windfalls, but as quiet returns of energy you once gave out without expecting anything in return. In the days ahead, you may notice subtle shifts, sudden reimbursements, invitations, surprising acts of generosity, or even delayed financial acknowledgments that seem to come out of nowhere. But they're not random. They're the quiet fulfillment of a universal promise, that what you give with integrity always finds its way back to you, in the form it's most needed. Libra, your energy is refined. You value beauty, fairness, and the subtle dance of giving and receiving. And right now, you're standing in a unique alignment where financial energy isn't just flowing, it's harmonizing. The recurring presence of the numbers 6 and 9 is not coincidental. In numerology, 6 speaks to nurturing, to family, to care and balance in the material world. 9, meanwhile, speaks to completion, to spiritual dividends, to being repaid for lessons learned and compassion extended. Together, they suggest you're at a threshold moment, the part of your life where you're no longer striving for more, but finally harvesting the truth of what you've sown. And here's the thing, money, in its highest vibration, is not just a tool. It's a mirror. It reflects how we value ourselves, how we receive care, how we steward what we're given. The law of attraction doesn't respond to desperation, it responds to certainty. It responds when you stop chasing abundance and start welcoming it. There's a quiet confidence in those who have learned to live with grace in both scarcity and surplus. And you, Libra, are being asked to embody that grace now more than ever. This is not the time to think small. But neither is it a time to operate from fear. If you've been holding tension around finances, if anxiety has become a background hum in your thoughts, it's time to gently lay it down. Not because the situation is magically fixed, but because worry blocks the flow of resourcefulness. The universe works through clarity. That's why I invite you to take 5 minutes today to write down 3 things you're truly grateful for in your current financial life. It might be something as small as your favorite coffee, or as profound as the fact that your bills are paid. Gratitude doesn't need grandeur, it needs sincerity. There's also something deeply symbolic about order. In energy work, physical space reflects inner intention. The southeast corner of your living space is known in feng shui as the area that governs wealth. Clean it. Light a candle there. Cream or olive green works beautifully. These aren't spells, they're signals. You're telling the invisible forces around you that you are available, that you are present, that you are ready. And being ready doesn't mean you have everything figured out. It simply means you're no longer resisting what's coming. Money will come. And when it does, the invitation is not just to receive it, but to know what to do with it. To hold it with responsibility and joy. To let it circulate. To allow it to support your vision, your peace, your freedom, not just your survival. You're being reminded that your worth was never in question, but perhaps your openness to claim it needed this gentle confirmation. If your heart says yes, even a little, I invite you to affirm it now. Leave a comment with the words, "I'm ready to receive new flow," and share the name of the city where you live. It's not just a message to me, it's a message to the universe. You are no longer hiding from abundance. You are walking toward it with both hands open. When it comes to love, Libra, your soul doesn't settle for surface. You are one of the few who truly seek depth wrapped in harmony, intimacy framed by clarity. And during this energetic window, there's a quiet unfolding in your emotional world that deserves to be acknowledged. You're being invited to soften and expand at the same time, no longer waiting for the right person to appear, but becoming the version of yourself that can recognize and receive them when they do. There's a subtle but powerful energy in the air right now that supports soul-aligned partnerships. It's the kind of frequency that doesn't force anything, it simply aligns things. The Two of Cups shows us that connection is not just possible, but close. It may come through someone who mirrors your current growth, not the past you've outgrown. This person won't complete you, they'll reflect the version of you that's already becoming whole. And that difference? It changes everything. For those in a current relationship, this phase offers a moment of deep reflection. The Queen of Swords enters here not to cut, but to clarify. This isn't a time for emotional fog. It's a time for courageous honesty with yourself first, then with your partner. Are you building something rooted in truth, or clinging to something out of habit? Either way, the universe is nudging you to make a choice. Forward or farewell, but not halfway anymore. The cosmos can support us, but it won't walk our path for us. Love, like life, expands when we do. It's easy to believe that love is about finding the right person. But the deeper truth? It's about becoming the person who can love with presence, not projection. A version of you who is no longer chasing validation, but offering genuine connection. The Lover's card reminds us that divine union isn't just romantic, it's spiritual. It's a choice we make every day, to show up honestly, love courageously, and honor the wisdom we've earned. So here's something to try: write a letter to your future self. Not just any self, but the version of you who is already in the relationship you desire. Describe that connection in detail. How do you feel when you wake up beside this person? What do your days look like together? What do they admire about you, not just your strengths, but the parts of you you used to hide? This isn't fantasy. It's a form of energetic alignment. The more clearly you define what you desire, the more easily it finds you. And remember, love doesn't always enter like thunder. Sometimes it arrives quietly, in the space you make after releasing what no longer resonates. As someone wise once said, blessings are more likely to find us when our hands and hearts are open. If you're still healing from past relationships, don't rush the process. But do stay open. Softness is not weakness, it's a magnet for sincerity. If any part of this speaks to you, if your heart feels even a slight opening, I invite you to affirm it. Leave a comment below that says, "I'm ready to love the right person," and share one word that captures what you want to feel in that relationship, whether it's trust, adventure, calm, or joy. This simple act of naming it brings it closer. Because you're not asking for too much. You're asking for what's real, and what's real always finds its way to those who believe it's possible. Sometimes, the most powerful shifts begin not in the stars, but in the stillness of your own body. After exploring the themes of alignment in love and finances, we now arrive at perhaps the most overlooked and most essential element of transformation: your physical and emotional well-being. For Libra, a sign ruled by Venus and deeply attuned to beauty, balance, and inner peace, health isn't just about exercise or diet. It's about harmony. Not the loud kind, but the quiet kind that comes when your breath, your body, and your emotions are all moving in the same direction. Right now, astrologically, your energy calls less for intensity and more for restoration. This is not the time to push through exhaustion or drown yourself in obligations. The alignment encourages deep internal rest. When Venus whispers instead of roars, your nervous system becomes the gateway for clarity, not your schedule. Libra placements are often prone to tension in areas where you carry the weight of unspoken emotions: the upper back, the shoulders, the heart space, even the gut. These aren't just random stress points, they are energy centers where unexpressed thoughts settle. So if your body has been signaling that it needs attention, don't ignore it. The most advanced form of strength right now is softness. Gentle rituals, especially those rooted in sensory nourishment, are your best allies at this time. Imagine yourself drawing a warm bath and letting rose petals swirl around you, softened by the sweetness of orange essential oil and the quiet fire of ginger. This isn't indulgence, it's alignment. When you care for your body, you anchor your energy. You tell the universe that you're a safe space for miracles to land. Not because you've hustled hard enough, but because you're willing to hold what arrives. You might also choose to sip something calming, like white tea or chamomile. Let it be a moment of connection, not another thing to check off your list. Let your nervous system recalibrate. Remember, healing isn't something that happens only in a retreat or a wellness plan. It happens in small, intentional choices. Like choosing water over caffeine. Like sitting down to enjoy your food instead of rushing through it. Like allowing yourself to feel without needing to fix. Nutrition, too, can be an act of devotion. Your body doesn't need perfection, it needs presence. A simple salad with berries, white beans, a touch of honey, and whole grains can bring more lightness than 100 supplements. It's not about restriction, but about choosing foods that speak the language of vitality. What you consume becomes a conversation between your body and your future. And your future is listening. If you're looking for one small yet powerful practice to ground this energy, try this. Spend 10 quiet minutes visualizing your heart, not metaphorically, but literally. Imagine it pulsing with a soft glow, filling your chest, radiating outward. This isn't just meditation. It's an energetic reset. When your heart center is open, decisions feel less forced, relationships feel less confusing, and your physical energy stabilizes in unexpected ways. This is your gentle reminder that rest is not laziness. Restoration is not weakness. Even scripture teaches that peace isn't earned through striving, but through trust. Trust in the process, in your design, in the natural intelligence of your body. You're not meant to run on empty just to prove your worth. You are meant to be nourished, and you are allowed to nourish yourself. If anything from this speaks to you, I invite you to ground it in action. Comment below with a small ritual or a meal you plan to make for yourself tomorrow. Not for anyone else. Just for you. Let it be the signal that you're no longer waiting to be restored, you are choosing it. One breath, one bite, one gentle moment at a time. There's something quietly powerful about choosing what you focus on, not because it changes the world instantly, but because it changes you. And when you change, the way the world responds to you does, too. After grounding into your emotional center, tending to your physical body, and honoring your energetic cycles, this next step asks something simple but profound: intention. What do you want to experience next, not because you're desperate for it, but because you're ready for it? During a double luck portal like the one you're in now, the universe is unusually receptive. It's like the air itself listens more closely. But that doesn't mean outcomes are handed out randomly. They're shaped, co-created through your focus, your feelings, your willingness to declare what you desire without guilt or hesitation. This is the essence of the law of attraction. It's not a formula for wishful thinking. It's a conscious way of living, where your energy speaks before your words do, and your clarity magnetizes what once felt distant. Libra, your sign understands design, elegance, and the art of intentional living. You thrive when your external world reflects your internal values. That's why visual rituals work especially well for you. When you print out or draw a picture that represents the life you want to attract, whether it's a new home, a soulmate, a thriving career, you're not being idealistic. You're creating an anchor, a mirror that reminds your mind and spirit what direction you're walking toward. Every glance at that image tells your subconscious, this is where I'm headed. This is what I'm allowed to receive. The same goes for written affirmations. A short sentence on a sticky note can become a compass. And no, you don't need to believe it fully on day one. But if you repeat it with gentleness, not pressure, it starts to settle. Something within you softens. Resistance melts. And suddenly, that affirmation isn't just something you say. It's something you become. A beautiful truth whispered into being. Small acts amplify big outcomes. Changing your phone wallpaper to reflect your vision isn't shallow, it's symbolic. It's a reminder that even in your busiest, most distracted moments, your dreams still exist right in front of you. Sound can also help recalibrate your energy. Music isn't just background noise, it's medicine. Frequencies like 639 Hz, which harmonize the heart, or 888 Hz, which boost prosperity, tune your nervous system into a state of allowance. They shift you from grasping into receiving. And in that state, blessings tend to arrive more naturally. But perhaps the most sacred part of this process is simplicity. There's no need to overcomplicate manifestation. The universe doesn't require fancy rituals or perfect vision boards. It simply needs your honesty. Your willingness to ask for what lights you up and your decision to hold that vision long enough for it to bloom. So if you've been waiting for permission to want more, for love that nourishes, wealth that frees, creativity that flows, consider this your confirmation. It's not greedy. It's not selfish. It's aligned. The Creator designed you with purpose and planted those desires in your heart not to tease you, but to guide you. You were never meant to suppress them, you were meant to steward them. If this resonates, I invite you to do something bold yet beautiful. Drop into the comments and write one affirmation that reflects who you are becoming. Something like, I attract opportunities that match my worth, or I am safe to expand into abundance. Say it not because you've arrived, but because you're on your way. Your future is not written in stone. It's written in the language of your choices, and today, you've already made one, to believe in more. Keep going. The universe is already listening. If you've made it to this point, that already tells me something powerful about you. It tells me that you're not just curious, you're ready. Ready to live with more awareness, more alignment, and more intention. Throughout this reading, you've been invited to reflect, to reset, and most importantly, to reconnect with the version of you that has always known there was something more. And maybe that something more isn't a thing at all. Maybe it's a feeling. A sense of home in your own body. A clarity about your purpose. A softness in your relationships. A steadiness in your decisions. And if a part of you has whispered during this video, could this really be for me? Let me remind you, gently but firmly, yes. Yes, it is for you. Not because you are lucky, but because you are ready. Not because the stars finally aligned, but because you finally stopped doubting that they ever weren't. There's something beautifully honest about what happens when we stop waiting for perfect circumstances and start meeting life where it's already waiting to meet us here, now, in this breath. You see, it's not about whether this is your moment. It becomes your moment the second you decide it is. And right now, you have an invitation. One that doesn't ask you to change everything at once, but simply to say yes. To one action. One intention. One shift in perspective. Because momentum doesn't come from movement alone. It comes from meaningful movement. And that's what today has been all about. So let me ask you something, not as an expert, but as someone who's walked this path too. What is one small thing you can do right after this video that tells the universe you're ready? Ready for the next chapter, the next level, the next version of you that doesn't just survive but shines? Maybe it's journaling for 5 minutes. Maybe it's deleting an old message. Maybe it's preparing a nourishing meal with intention. Whatever it is, it's enough. Your action doesn't have to be loud to be life-changing. If you're feeling that quiet sense of truth stirring in your chest, I'd love to hear about it. Comment below with one thing, just one, that you will do today to affirm, I am ready. Not because you need permission, but because you are finally giving yourself support. And if this video brought you even one moment of clarity, encouragement, or peace, I want to thank you deeply. Your presence here is what makes this space sacred. Your likes, your comments, your shares, and your subscriptions help this message ripple out further, reaching the hearts that need it. On behalf of the Zodiac Whisper Tarot channel, I'm truly honored to walk this path with you. You don't need to wait for a lucky day to live your truth. But when a day like tomorrow comes, when the energy is already lifting you higher, it would be a shame not to say yes to the rise. So here we are. A crossroads. A beginning. A promise. Let's not just watch the stars. Let's partner with them. Let's not just predict the future. Let's participate in it. If that speaks to you, subscribe now and let's continue building this journey, not from fear, not from pressure, but from power. Because your power isn't in what happens to you. It's in what you choose next. And I believe with my whole heart, you're ready.